Hi Beans! Merry Christmas and welcome back to another video. So today's video is a Christmas book haul. I'm so excited. This video isn't just Christmas books. It kind of is, it kind of isn't. So I got a bunch of books for Christmas. My birthday is October 24th. So I bought these books using some birthday money. So I'm including them because I also got money for Christmas. So it kind of all like counts, you know? So I have 12 books to talk about here today. I do also have 4 books coming that I just ordered. So they won't be in this video, but I'll just like briefly tell you guys about them. The 4 that I ordered online with my Christmas money is a physical copy of The Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtues, because that was one that I read on Audible this year and I really loved it. It was so sweet, it was so cute. The characters are adorable. So I wanted a physical copy so I can like highlight, underline, you know. The second book I ordered online is Red Seas Under Red Skies, which is the second in the Gentleman's Bastard series. I read the first book, The Lies of Locke Lamora, earlier this year and adored it. So I had to get the second book. The third book I got was, I'm not sure if it's called Poppy War or if it's actually called something else, but the first one in the Poppy War series. I've heard so many people talk about how amazing this series is and how the characters are so great. So many of my favourite booktubers talk about it, so I'm really excited to give that one a go. The last book that I ordered online was This Is How You Lose the Time War. Again, this is another one that I've heard so many people like talk about. It's got so many good reviews from so many booktubers I really like trust. So I thought that would be another one I'm really keen to give a go, and they both sound great. So yeah, I'm really excited to give those a try. So the first book that I have is The Magician's Guild. This one is by Trudy Canavan. So this is essentially about it's a fantasy city where there's like magicians and stuff. There's a very big like class divide. There's this girl and she's part of the lower class. She's like, I don't know, some shit's going down. There's some riots and some fighting and stuff, and she throws a rock at this group of magicians, and it just goes whoop through their protective barriers, and everyone's like, oh shit. She is like a natural magician. The magicians are in a guild, I don't know. The guild is like trying to track her down because they're like, like this girl can't be like out here using natural magician skills and being like in the low class and like rioting against us. We can't allow that. I'm really excited for it. It is the first in a trilogy as well. The second book that I got is the Hazel Wood. This one is by Melissa Albert. This one is like some weird like sort of fantasy thrillery kind of. Essentially there's this girl Alice. She has really bad luck and her grandma lives on this big old estate called the Hazelwood, and then her grandma dies, and she's the author of like this book of like sort of creepy dark fairy tales that are like set in the woods. All weird shit starts happening. Like her mother is like kidnapped by someone who's like in the fairy tales, and she's got to like go to this estate. I don't know, weird shit's happening. It sounds amazing. So the third book has a little bit of a story. It was supposed to be a Christmas present from my grandma, and she had to like order it like online, and then when it came it was a second-hand copy, so she gave it to me early. I was like, no, like wrap it, I don't care if it's second-hand, but she gave it to me early anyway, so it's sort of a Christmas book but sort of not, you know. So this is the 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle. So essentially this is about this girl called Evelyn Hardcastle, and she dies. The perspective of this book is from a guy who keeps like reliving the same day, like Groundhog Day kind of stitch, but every time he's like in a different body and he's trying to find out who the killer is, and he doesn't sort of have any idea really who he is. Like it's weird. Fourth book that I have today, I'm really excited about this one, is Six of Crows. So Six of Crows is by Lee Bardugo. This one is about this guy called Kaz Brecker, who's a criminal prodigy. Somebody sort of comes up to him and he's like, hey, want to do a heist? the reward or whatever for this heist is like, ooh, like, you know, you can like pack up shop, he's good. But it involves breaking into this like military place that's never been broken into before. It's like the most secure place. They need to break into this place and retrieve a hostage who like has some like important, like groundbreaking kind of knowledge, I don't know, but he can't pull off the heist alone, so he needs to recruit people. So we have a convict with a thirst for revenge, a sharpshooter who can't walk away from a wager, a runaway with a privileged past, a spy known as the Wraith, a heart-render using her magic to survive the slums, and a thief with a gift for unlikely escapes. Basically, they all sound like absolute messes. Sounds like there's going to be disaster and chaos. I am here for it. The next one I got, Howl's Moving Castle, the book, and it is by Diana Wynne Jones. So I, like everyone, I'm obsessed with Studio Ghibli. I love Studio Ghibli. I'm wearing a Kiki's Delivery Service necklace right now. I got that for Christmas. I am also kind of nervous though, because since I do love the movie so much, I'm kind of like, oh, like please be good. So it's about this girl named Sophie, and she lives in a hat shop, and it is set during a time of war. She ends up like sort of getting into this situation where this witch just kind of like busts into her shop and is like, fuck you, and puts a curse on her, and it turns her into like an old woman. And she's kind of like, well, shit. She goes off to try and like break this curse. She's like, oh, like gotta find myself a wizard. And she ends up at Howl's Moving Castle, which is, it's the coolest thing, and it has legs and it just like roams around the countryside. It's got like little like portal doors so you can like go to other places. It's amazing. And yeah, so she like hops into this castle, and there's this wizard named Howl, and he's like, cool. Howl's Moving Castle was the first Studio Ghibli movie I watched, and it's also just, you know, gorgeous. So it holds like a really special place in my heart. The next one I'm super keen on is Red, White and Royal Blue. This one is by Casey McQuiston. So this one is about this boy. He becomes his mum becomes the president of the United States. So he's kind of like royalty, but not, you know. There's a boy in the UK who is a prince, and essentially these two boys, they like hate each other, they're feuding, you know, and then they get into like this big sort of like altercation. Media catches wind of it, and so the families have to like do damage control because it's like gonna make it look like there's a bad relationship between the two countries. So they're like, right, like we don't care what you think, you've got to be friends now, you've got to be friends for the cameras. And so they have to like spend time together and pretend to be friends and stuff, and they end up falling in love, which is so cute. The next book I have is a manga called Made in Abyss. This is by Akihito Tsukushi. It's all black and white, but it's got really cute illustrations. The entire world has been completely explored except for this like abyss, and this abyss is like this huge sort of cave system. There's like monsters and treasure and like all this crazy stuff, and so there's like some people who either do or used to explore it called cave raiders. There's this little girl called Riko. She is an orphan, and her mother used to be a cave raider, and so she really wants to follow in her mother's footsteps and do that. So she goes on this journey to the abyss, and she meets a robot, and it sounds super cute and really fun. I always wanted to be like an adventurer when I was a kid. I was like, I want to explore places, and I am still like so drawn to books that are sort of to do with that. So I am super, super excited to give this one a go. The next one on my list is Piranhasy. This one is by Susanna Clark. I don't know why, but I hate the cover of this one. I like the little sort of gold and stuff like that, but there's something about like the centaur dude. He creeps me out for some reason. I don't know why. I usually like centaurs because I'm like, yes, like ancient Greek myth, like we stan. But like, he creeps me out. So I don't like the cover. Wait, it's got a dust jacket. Is it? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I like it without the dust jacket. How cool is that? That is absolutely beautiful. Oh my god. Okay, I'm just gonna like keep the dust jacket off. I'll just like chuck the dust jacket like behind the like row of books or something, because that is really pretty and that doesn't creep me out. Essentially, there is this guy who I'm guessing is a centaur, and he is called Piranhasy, if I'm saying that right. And he lives in this place called the house. It's like some weird, huge fantasy kind of place. There is a labyrinth of halls, thousands upon thousands of statues, tides that thunder up staircases, and clouds that move in slow procession through the upper halls. And essentially this guy is just like wandering through the house, like taking notes of everything he's seeing. And then on Tuesdays and Fridays, he sees the other, who's his friend. There's also the dead that he brings like tributes to. But apart from that, he's alone. Then he starts finding messages like written on like pavements and stuff like that. So there's someone new here, and he doesn't know if they're dangerous or friendly or like what they want. I love Greek myth. I'm a hoe for Greek myth, and this seems like it's gonna at least tie a little bit of that in. So I am super excited for this book. So the next one I may have fucked up with. I bought this one using my birthday money and I got it confused with another one. I thought it was one I had on my to read list that like people had talked about that sounded really good. After I bought it, I like went on to Goodreads and I realized I'd gotten it mixed up. It still sounded really good because, you know, otherwise I wouldn't have bought it. But when I went on Goodreads, it doesn't have like the greatest ratings, like not terrible, but not great. And the only person on who I follow on Goodreads that has read it didn't really like it. So I may have fucked up, but it is The Court of Miracles, and this one is by Kester Grant. This one is a Les Mis retelling. I haven't read or watched Les Mis, so I don't know if that would help or make it worse. So this one is set in 1828, and there is the Court of Miracles, which is made up of like thieves and assassins and like outcasts and stuff like that. There's this girl Eponine, and her father Thénardier sells her sister to the Guild of Flesh. Eponine is like determined to get her sister back. Either she's already in or she becomes a part of the Court of Miracles. She becomes this great thief. She makes like another sort of sister called Corset, but she's never sort of forgotten her like blood sister and like the promise she made her. And if she wants to save her, then she's gonna have to betray Corset. Corset, sorry, not Corset. I'm like, yeah, Corset, my sister Corset, no. If you guys have read this book, tell me what you thought of it, because I'm nervous now. So the 10th book that I got was the Dictionary of Lost Words. This one is by Pip Williams. So this one sounds really cool. I'm really excited for it. So essentially, this one is about words and the power they hold. I'm not entirely sure if it's kind of like a fantasy one where the words hold actual like kind of magical sort of powers, or if they're talking like metaphorically sort of, and about like, you know, the power of like your voice and like, you know, how people say that kind of thing. But there is this girl, Esme, and her father and a team of lexicographers are essentially making like the Oxford English Dictionary. So they're like gathering and sorting all these words, and Esme is just like chilling in the shed underneath the sorting table, and this word like falls to the ground and it is bondmaid. Esme takes the word and like hides it in her trunk, she begins to sort of collect words that are discarded or misplaced or just sort of forgotten about or neglected in some way by these lexicographers. And essentially it is about how they are mostly words relating to sort of women, and that these sort of women's experiences are going unrecorded, and these words are like helping her find her place in the world. So she decides to make her own dictionary, the Dictionary of Lost Words. I am a linguistics student, so I love sort of words and language and the power it has, and yeah, so this is what I'm looking forward to. Also, how beautiful is that cover? Gorgeous, gorgeous. I love it. Okay, so the next one I'm really excited for as well. I'm excited for all of these, and it is the Tea Dragon Society. Look at that. That is beautiful. This one is by Will Eisner. It just looks so gorgeous and so sort of calming and like peaceful. It's like cottagecore, you know? That's the vibes I'm getting, which amazing. So this one is a fairy tale about a girl named Greta, who is an adventurous blacksmith apprentice. She is in the marketplace and she discovers a lost tea dragon. She learns about the dying art of tea dragon caretaking from these really sweet tea shop owners, Hezekiel and Eric. She befriends them and like this shy little girl they're taking care of called Minette, and she sort of sees how like tea dragon caretaking is improving their lives and how it starts to improve her own. The last book I have today is Heartstopper Volume 1. This one is by Alice Oseman. This is an LGBT graphic novel. Essentially, there's these two guys, they're in high school, they've never really talked, and then they get paired up by something, they quickly become friends, and one of them starts to fall in love with the other one, and then a romance. So this one sounds really cute. Again, I'm really excited for it. Again, look at that cover. The covers, oh, I'm loving the sort of pastel aesthetic that a lot of novels are having, especially LGBT novels. I'm noticing that like everyone's gay, everyone's pastel. Yes, the pastel gays are winning. So there is more than one volume of this. I believe the third one came out this year. So these are my 12 books. I am so excited for the next year of reading, and I am so excited to start working my way through these because they all sounded really great. I have no clue where I want to start. I am so happy. Just look at that. That is hefty. I could kill someone with these. I wouldn't though, because that would get blood on my books. Also, I'm not a murderer. Glad we established that. Okay, so that is the end of the video. Comment down below what books you guys got for Christmas, because I love like hearing what everyone got. If you didn't get any books and you got like money or something else, like let me know what you plan to buy, you know? So that is all for now. Like and subscribe if you want more of this, but not exactly this, because this won't happen again for another year. So like not this, but this. No. Thank you so much for watching. Bye beans.